Have I killed it? I think I pressed the wrong button. Are we live? Hi, Dats and Des. Thank you for your 20 months. Well done. Cheers. Epic Votan, Dimitri Fowler, Wraith Raider, Rules Guy, you're here. Robin Harris. All good. It's live. I pressed a thing and something came up on the thing to say that I pressed the wrong thing. And then I quickly pressed the other thing. So I guess if you press buttons quickly enough, you're okay. But you shouldn't press buttons quickly enough. The mic is good. Thank you. Mic check. Mic check. Welcome to this Talky Tuesday. There won't be one next week or the week after. I'm not here next Tuesday. I'm not here the Tuesday after that. The cat is going to be fine. We've got a cat sitter. Everything's going to be fine. You can press buttons too. Thank you, Rules Wraith Raider, for your 13 months. I appreciate you. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Talky Tuesday community catch-up things. Hi, Matthew Edwards. Hi, guys. How are you all doing out there? Is everyone okay? What have you been doing for your hobbying? What's behind me? So I need to do a video on it, really, because I asked one of the benefits of being a world-famous 2021 No Retreat Legend of Legends champion, all-round 40k guru and lawmaster and all of those things is occasionally you ask people like, can you send me some stuff? So I said to GameMat.eu, I like your new scenery, GameMat.eu, the thing with the tower and the thing. Can you send me some new stuff? And they said yes. And they sent me more than just new stuff. They sent me a pile of stuff. So I think that is the scenery. I don't know what that one is. And there's some new mats. They sent me lots of new stuff. I guess they're annoyed with the amount of urbmats.com stuff that has been appearing on the channel recently. They wanted some more GameMat.eu stuff to appear. So, a pile of stuff, which I haven't even opened yet. I think I might actually do one of those table setups because people keep asking me, hey, can you do a table setup? How do you set up your tables? And I get that. That's one of my regular requests. None of the boxes are ticking. We're good. Brain gone. Just start building my inner circle companions. Nice. Working on some Heresy 1000 models. Nice. Mordheim warbands. Nice. Painting my ICC. They look great. Hoping they come down in points soon. I don't know what ICC is. No idea. Hi Niall. Should ask for free. Yes, you should ask for free stuff. You need to start a YouTube channel and get about 100. Yes. If you start a YouTube channel, get a few thousand followers and ask for some... I just ask. If you don't ask, you don't get, right? It's a case of, hi Monkey, hi, Inner Circle Companions. That's what they are. Okay, hi Monkey, thanks for joining the chat. Tanith, I'm on book 7 now of Gaunt's Ghosts, because I'm listening to it on audio. Sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I've read it a few times. I'm listening it to it on audio because then you can, do lots of stuff. Stipping and rebasing high elves. Just chuck the high elves in the bin. Hi Ice Wolf. Yeah, so last week, where was I? Last week we finished off the 13th. I did some Gladiator, if you want to, and some Redemptive Dreadnoughts. Today, in between then and now, I've assembled over 30 Medusan Immortals for the Iron Hands, so they're coming. I did a lot with... I've done quite a lot with grav guns, because they're grav guns, they can count as grav shredders. So instead of heavy, they get the assault keyword and heresy. So there's 34. There's quite a few over there. But mainly, I am avoiding painting Constantine Valdor and all the other ones. So I've done a chunk of 40k stuff. I'm trying to avoid painting Valdor and the Custodes because it's gold, and gold, I like gold. Gold is one of those tricky ones. It's a tricky to make it gold. You know what I mean? Gold. Your son painted a chaplain, Wraith Raider, following the guide to painting black. He's caught the bug and he's mid-painting 3 Blade Guard. Yeah, it's a nice, easy slap chalk black technique with the not with airbrush. No, with the thing. That's yes. So Medusan Immortals, lots of them. all the extra bits on the Medusan Immortals come from marchofwar.co.uk. So thank you, James. And then there's all the bases, and we're going to be smashing into some of them in the last week. So when did I see you guys? On the Tuesday. Winter's the man, the legend. Thank you. The blades are tricky on Custodes. The blades are tricky. They are. Getting the power blade look down. Also, I'd really need to get my Custodes on the table because I haven't touched them in this edition. I did play, like I saw you guys on the Tuesday. Then on the Wednesday, I went round Sultan's house and we played a game. And he broke out his Tau again because he's really trying to make Tau work. And I brought my Custodes against his Tau. This was the first time I played Custodes this edition. And he shot me off the table. So I guess he figured out how to make Tau work. I think the trick with making Tau work for him was, you know the Melter guys, you got all the 3 different crisis suits now. Hands up in the chat, anyone who plays Tau. There's 3 different crisis suits now, rather than just one crisis suit. And then all the 3 different crisis suits get different rules depending on what guns they have. And it's the different guns that make them different crisis suits. And there's one of them with the Melters. The one with the Melters gets to reroll wounds and reroll damage if you get... Because Melters aren't strong enough anymore. But you just got to hit. And then you got that reroll and the reroll. So what he did is he spammed loads of them with loads of Cold Star battle suits. And I think that's the way. I think you've got to lean into the spam, you know. You've got to lean into the spam in 10th edition. 10th edition is the spam edition. 10th edition is the tournament edition. 10th edition is the... I've been saying that about the last... But it's definitely the spam edition with the points. The points, the way the points are. Like you say, you can see the points. You can see how the rules are. You can see if I add this librarian into that, it does that. So I'll have 3 of them. You know what I mean? It's easy. Like this is good. I'll take 3 of those units and 3 of those units. If you want to play strong lists in 10th edition, I think it's leaning into the spam more than any other edition. And so yeah, he spammed lots of suits, Melter suits, and that seemed to work for him. And I was just running around all over the Custodes, getting shot and trying to punch things. So that was good on the Wednesday. On the Friday, film one with Dark Angels Chris, and that was like we lent into it. That was and then Riftforge Studio on YouTube. Check them out for Heresy content. They turned up on the Saturday. Sean from Riftforge Studio, he was very gentle. And that was fun too. And then this week, I'm going around Sultan's again tomorrow night. Just Craig come around here on Friday. Chewie's on the Saturday. Sultan's filming on the Sunday. Busy week this week as well. I need to do a video about that. I mean... No Tau players in the chat then. Metals are strong. Do you guys want to see another how do I set up a table video? There is one. If you go on if you look through and scroll through all the videos, it might actually be in the reviews playlist, but I did one before with urbanmats.com stuff. And like this is how I set up a thing. Do you guys want to see another one? Oh, it's Sean. There's Sean Gibson. It was a pleasure coming on, Bud. I didn't know that your last name was Gibson. I barely knew that your first name was Sean. You are Riftforge Studios. But check out Riftforge Studios on YouTube. I've still got, look. I have hostages. Rather watch you unboxing the cool stuff behind me. It's just scenery for a table. Look, I have hostages. Lovely Sons of Horus that Sean donated to the channel. So they're mine now. Thank you. Just do it again to keep the sponsors happy. They're not really sponsors. Then, I mean, urbanmats.com and gamemat.eu and marchofwar.co.uk don't really they don't pay me anything. The reason why I shout out all their stuff is because I recommend their stuff. I'll only shout out stuff that I think is recommendable. And if it's not recommendable, I don't shout it out or I don't even feature it on the channel. And so I feel like, and plus getting stuff from them, and so most of it's free. Getting free stuff from other people. I feel like, yeah, I've asked for this. They've sent it. I like it. I'm using it. It's free. It's the least thing I could do is shout it out. It was one of the Prison of War, exactly. One of the goals in doing this 10 years ago was, hey, if I keep doing this for a while, maybe I'll get some free stuff. That was one of the goals back in the day of starting a YouTube channel. I'd like my hobby to pay for itself, and we hit that. It's nice. It does pay for itself. They give you free stuff, though. Worth chatting about them. Exactly. What gaming mats would you recommend? Any from urbanmats.com or gamemat.eu. I really like the Badlands battle mat from urbanmats.com. That's my favourite battle mat, and you'll see it in most battle mats. The reason why, and I get free money from you, yes I do, blah, blah, blah. Thank you very much. Because the Badlands battle mat works really well with outdoor things and indoor things. Are there any more old world battle ruts coming up? There are a couple in the pipeline planned to be filmed. I'm not sure where they are. I can't even see it on my calendar. But yes, there's some more coming up. Hello, Pickle Nick. Rectangular ones are good. Rectangular are definitely the way to go. If you're getting battle mats, not the circular ones, rectangular ones are good. But Badlands one is, it's got a nice palette to it, and it goes with almost everything, if you know what I mean. And they do another one, which is like Badlands, but it's a bit more greener. Stephen, no problem. The Horus Heresy content, glad you like it. And I'm glad that you're going to have your first game of Horus Heresy at the weekend. Can't wait. Sounds good. What are you playing? Who are you playing against? Also, another thing to note when you play Heresy is it takes 2 or 3 or 4 games to start getting your head around it properly. 40k, it takes 2 or 3. It takes a game longer to start getting your head around Heresy properly. So you're going to have to play another game, and then another game, and then it will start to click a bit more, because the rules are, the core rules are deeper, but they're more stable. For example, the 40k rules are changing all the time. Balance data slates, explosions, death, destruction, addiction, imprisonment, prostitution, mad donkeys, all sorts of horrible things with Warhammer 40k, trying to ride that surfboard all the way to the shore, and the shore keeps getting nuked all the time. It's hard to stay on top of the 40k surfboard, but Heresy at least is a bit more stable, you know. Hello, Johans, and yeah, Matt, you've made it. Well done. You've made it. You made it to the chat. Thank you. So yeah, we smashed quite a few games. We're building the crap out of Immortals over there, and I'm avoiding doing the Custodes. Pickle Nick, 3rd game of Heresy. Zone Mortalis, so nearly all infantry, 1 Contemptor. Good, man. Zone Mortalis is good. 1 Contemptor is nice and friendly. Smaller list for Zone Mortalis, yeah? Keep it neat, keep it tidy. And if it's your 3rd game, things are beginning to click with you about when to react, how to react. One of the nice things I like about Heresy is like the bolt guns and the bolt guns are the same. One of the things about playing Tau the other day with Sultan is we realised that there's different types of missile pods. Like on the Riptide, the missile pods fire 3 shots, the SMS, and on the other stuff it fires 4 shots. Someone was pointing out the other day that there's 4 different profiles for heavy bolters in 40k now. There's like the heavy bolter, and then you get twin heavy bolter, but then you get the stern guard heavy bolter. It's got a different stat line to the other heavy bolters, and then there's another heavy bolter somewhere else on a tank somewhere, which has got a different stat line for other heavy. They can't even agree on what a heavy bolter is in 40k. At least in the Heresy, a heavy bolter is a heavy bolter. You know what I mean? Sons of Horus against Imperial Fists. Sons of Horus. So you want to get in there, chopping stuff up. And if he's doing the Stone Warden Phalanx thing, then you're going to lose anyway. But have fun. Imperial Fists want to shoot. Sons of Horus want to get in close combat. So get in close combat. The worst way my name was spoken. It's, look, the Johannes Gurr. The worst way my name was ever spoken. Thanks. I'm glad I achieved that. But German is a terrible language for English speakers. Johannes, Johannes Geyer. Johannes Geyer. Fulgrim is the next Prigate to return. Farseer Winters is the thing. Farseer Winters is not a thing, and Fulgrim might be the next Primarch to return. Because did anyone catch that in the latest Warhammer community? One of the latest. Yeah, it's okay, Drop Dice Gaming. Thank you. You haven't missed nothing. Thanks to the party. Settle down. Sit down at the back. You can shout questions every now and then, but if you come in late, sit down at the back, be quiet, settle into it. Settle in. Let's settle in, everyone. No, we didn't miss anything. So where were we? Yes. For those that don't know, there was a Warhammer community article saying that the next codex coming is Codex Chaos Space Marines. Anyone else excited for Codex Chaos Space Marines? I don't even play Codex Chaos Space Marines, but I like the Chaos Space Marine. I like what they've done with the marks. I like the model range. They released that the Lord on the jump pack is coming back in. New Chaos Lord coming back. Go to Warhammer Community, check out the thing. Anyway, in there isn't going to be Lucius or any Noise Marines. They've been removed from the Chaos Space Marine Codex, and then they did a little addendum saying, so you'll be able to find an index with their rules in if you want to play them with the Chaos Space Marines. But they're coming again. They're coming back. They've removed them from the main codex because they're beginning getting a codex of their own at some point this century. Yes, Index Empress Children is coming. Yes, which will have a couple of units in it. It'll have a couple of to allow you to play them inside. Yes, they're all coming. Okay. Yes, you caught it. Thanks. So we all caught that. We know it's coming. Chaos Space Marines next. Emperor's Children coming at some point. There'll be a Fulgrim. And then we've got them all, right? We've got Angron, Mortarion, Magnus. Yeah, we've got the 4 Chaos Gods represented by the thing. Hello, Steve, not Rob. Hi, how you doing? Shouldn't you be down at the gym doing some kung fu fighting? Ding, 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 ding. Those kids are fast as lightning. You know, it's a Tuesday. Aren't you down at the gym on a Tuesday? Go, kicking people in the head. He likes to kick people in the head, okay? I mean, I would love to kick people in the head, but I can't get my foot up that high. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there that you'd think, you know what you need? A swift kick to the head. But some of us just aren't that flexible. We still don't know what redacted is. Inquisitors, maybe my Deathwatch Grey Knights is 1-4. Who knows any case? I don't know what you're talking. Kickboxing last night, now recovering. Have you read any new 40k books as late? No, I'm going through the entire Horus Heresy on Audible right now. I've read them a few times before. So I'm going through that while I'm painting all my things. Gaunt's Ghost would recommend. 10 out of 10 would bang. I have got 3 books in my Kindle ready to read, and they're like War Boss, Brutal Cunning, those ones. There's 3 Orky books that I'm gonna nail. So they're on the line. A step stool for spontaneous chin kicking would be nice. Yeah, walk around the street with the steps. You know, some people just need a kick in the head. Wouldn't the world be better if it wasn't for people? You know what I mean? If there was just less around, it would be nice. I watched that Fallout TV show recently. I wouldn't say it's must watch TV, but it's pretty good. It could be tighter. The editing in it is a bit sloppy, you know. They've announced one of the upcoming codexes with the name redacted. Yeah, that'll be the Emperor's Children one then, probably, or something else, or something completely new. Eldar Exodites, anyone? Anyway, I watched that recently, the new Fallout, and I thought, hey, there's not a lot of people left in the world after World War III. There was a lot of walking going on without people being interrupted by other people. And I thought that would be lovely. It'd be nice to, you know, the queues at Asda would be a bit shorter. That'd be nice. Fallout was amazing. What book are you at in the Horus Heresy? Ash, I've done all the Horus Heresy. So, yeah, I nailed them. Again, that's a series that I've read more than once. I did the Solar War twice, and there's a couple of sections in the Horus Heresy that I've done a couple of times, and I'm also, having read all of them, going through them all on audiobook for the first time ever with my mate Alex. Monday is Horus Heresy night round this house, which is why I've been smashing out the Medusan and Immortals, and we are currently on the very start of Imperium Secundus under Unremembered Empire on the audio. So redacted Grey Knights. The Grey Knights need some Primaris, don't they? Grey Knights need some progenitor. Fopine Glory, new nods to the Gaunt's. Has it? Okay, I've got to check that out then. The Gaunt's Ghost thing. Lord of the Rings, there's a lot of uninterrupted. Yes. Lord of the Rings walking. I'm a fan of walking in movies. Obviously not in real life. I don't leave the house very much. Winters, what do you think of the new female Custodes? Asks Has. I mentioned this in my previous live stream. Let's talk about it again in this live stream. Ah, dear. So you can direct people back to the 22-minute mark when people ask, hey, Winters, what do I think about them? I don't like talking about religious, cultural, political topics on my YouTube channel. I like to keep my YouTube channel a channel where you can get away from anything that's real like that. Religious, cultural, topical, political, all of the things. So I don't want to talk about it now. And people keep asking, what's my opinion? What is my opinion worth? It's just an opinion. The internet is full of opinions. If you want opinions on the female Custodes stuff, go on the interwebs, and there's a lot of people making a lot of money right now talking about all of the female Custodes things. And I have been tempted to put out a clickbaity type thing and lay my opinion down, but it's the internet, Yeah, I go on social media and decide whether I'd like. Yes, sidestep. It's a massive sidestep. We're stepping to the right. I don't think this channel should be about cultural, political. The other thing is, some people get really, really upset about the whole thing. Be they on one side of the fence or the other side of the fence. To some people, this is the most important thing in the world ever. I'm not saying whether it is or isn't to me. And to some people don't even care about the female Custodes things at all. So, and the people who care about it so much get genuinely upset about the people who don't care about it at all. I've seen lots of comments. I've watched some YouTube stuff. I've had lots of messages about the whole thing. And Winter's SEO YouTube channel we're just here to, I'm just here to try and entertain you guys, make some videos and share my hobby journey with you. Yeah, I don't think my opinion is very important. Yeah, so I don't want to talk about it. Counts. Your opinion counts. My opinion doesn't count. Everyone's got an opinion. Everyone's got lots of opinions. Anyone asking either wants or bias confirmation, they need to know their... Yeah, that's another thing. Lots of people asking me and messaging me. They're not... When you ask someone, do you believe in God? That comes with an immediate... Like, when people ask, do you believe in God? What they're really asking is, do you believe in the Christian God? Because there's lots of gods out there. So there's an inherent bias straight away in the question, and they want to figure out what side you're on. When people ask you a question about, I don't know, climate change or whatever, pick a political topic, they want to find out which camp you're in. Oh, you believe that way, therefore you also believe this, or you believe that way, therefore you also believe this. People want to know which camp I'm in. I'm in the camp of calm down, carry on. There are other YouTube channels and content out there where you can get all the hot topic stuff. This is not that. It's exhausting. I'm old. I don't know what. Yeah. Thousand Suns. Cultural politics is no place in the grim darkness of the far future. Well, cultural politics, religion, everything. It's your hobby, and it's do what you want with it. Rebel Moon Part 2 could easily be set in 40k. Yeah. I'm not watching that. We could always have agreed GW should have done a better job than They Were Always Here. Would have preferred some info. Whichever way you think about female Custodes. Okay. Thank you. Enough politics and everything. We could use less of it. It's personal business. Wish everyone would shut up about it. I can comment on the thing earlier on, which is Blood Buffalo, thank you for the 2. Does this channel have a Discord? Yes, Blood Buffalo. If you become... Hey, so, hi everyone in the chat. Thanks for swinging by. If you would like to support me, you could become a channel member. Blood Buffalo, if you become a tier 1 channel member, you get all the custom imagey things. If you become a tier 2 channel member, it unlocks the Discord. If you become a tier 3 channel member, as well as all the custom imaging things, and for £1 more, not only does it unlock the Discord, but you also get an extra battle report every single Winter's Wednesday. And the one coming up tomorrow is Switzerland Part 2. With the second company of the second company of the 13th. We did the first company of the 13th on the Sunday. So it does have a Discord for members, things like that. Thank you for your £2. Yeah, Pickle Nick. That was an interesting thing. Like, if they're going to change the law, there's 2 ways the law change in Warhammer 40k, isn't there? One way the law changes is in the rule books and in the codexes, they change the law. So, 6th edition Necrons to 7th edition Necrons, for example, went from they're all dumbasses enslaved by the Catan to the Catan are now enslaved by the Necrons, and they've got a bit of personality now, and they actually run the way. They changed that. We have the Great Rift. That was rulebook 8th edition, ripping through the galaxy. Blood Buffalo upgraded its membership to tier 2. There you go. Join us in the Discord. Thank you. Had the Great Rift, rip the galaxy. That comes out of the rulebook. So sometimes the law moves forward with the rule books and the Custodes, and in my humble opinion, most of the time when that happens, it happens badly and they tend to screw it up. The law moved so far forward in 8th edition, they redacted it and put it back 100 years. The law moves around and switches position in the codexes all the time. It's the law changes. The other way the law moves forward is in the Black Library books. Dan Abner, ADB, Chris Raitt, one of those guys will write something in a book. The Yellow King, anyone? Alfarius and Omega, anyone? Perpetuals. Before the Horus Heresy come out, we didn't really know if the Emperor of Mankind was a man at all, or whether he was an old one sitting on a throne. And the lore moves forward in the Black Library books. I'm a fan of lore changing, moving, adapting, growing, expanding. Some of the changes they make suck. Some of the changes they make are good. But the way to do it better is in the Black Library. So if, for example, Fulgrim comes back in 11th edition Warhammer 40k, what I would like to see is a couple of books in the run up to 11th edition, like say a Black Library author did a trilogy, or one of them each did 3 books, or there's just 2 books, there's like a part 1. Say there's a couple of books where we get this hanging fruit revelation at the end of book 1. Is this really going to... And then book 2, it's Vulcan. It's like, no, it's Vulcan. And then book 3, they go and find Vulcan wherever he's been hanging out all this time. And they find Vulcan on this world or in this pocket of extant space. And he sat there chilling, having a barbecue because he likes flames. And with him are thousands of Space Marines, Zulus, thousands of them all over the place. Since the War of the Beast, he's been like building up. And now in 11th edition, we've got this reveal that Vulcan lives. Vulcan's there with this massive force. Vulcan's got a bunch of Space Marines behind him. And then 11th edition drops out. And then, boom, he's there in the launch box with the thing, with the stuff. And then the codex, and boom, and doosh, and off you go. And you've got a lore change made by the Black Library authors with the teasing, with the building, with the da-da-da. And it'll make a lot more sense when you've got someone who basically writes for a living, doing all the writing for the lore and launching the return of a Primarch. The return of Guilliman and the return of the Lion has come about because of lore changes in the rules books and the codexes. And while The Lion, the Son of the Forest book is actually was quite good, the return of Guilliman was okay. I mean, Eldar were involved and he had to die. And the return of Guilliman was weird. The return of the Lion is he just woke up because Games Workshop said, hey, we'll have another Primarch back now. Those Primarchs returning could be it could be done better. They could be better with a book, and like for example the Yellow King, Constantine Valdor, all the Pariah stuff, all that. When Valdor comes back with the twist and the turn and the shake, if he comes back, when he comes back, he's coming back. He's coming back. I guess when he comes back. That's 10 years of revelation until boom, he's back and he's in the fold. And what's he been doing in Pandemonium all this time? He's got a whole army in Pandemonium. Be nice if a couple more Primarchs come back that way, surfing off the back of a proper Black Library book after a couple of years of anticipation with a big model release. And in the 40 Grim Darkness of the 41st Millennium, the good guys could do with a little bit of help right now. They could do with a little bit of help right now. So, yeah, there's right ways to do lore. There's wrong ways to do lore. There's good ways to do lore. There's better ways to do lore. So when changes, updates, shifts are made, I'd rather they left it to the Black Library authors these days. Like they tell them, like, we've got an idea that we want to change this thing. What do you want to do about it? So, I mean, say they turn around to Aaron Dembski Bowden and say, hey, Aaron Dembski Bowden, we want Codex to come back in 2027, 3 years from now. We want him to come back in there. We envisage X. What do you think? Go. And let ADB write a book and go well into the Corax thing, because ADB does all the chaos stuff really well and grab hold of what would be a very complex character to write in the 41st Millennium and then let the, in the old days, it was the model range, and because of the model range, they made the books. But now the books are so good, like the Horus Heresy series, we've got a whole model range and a whole new gaming system. That's how successful, that's the right way to do it. I think so. Been listening to Horus Rising to start the heresy journey. Daniel, I am slightly envious of you. You've got a good 4-year journey there. And I wish it was 10 years. I wish it was longer. But you've got a long period of time of listening and sitting in you're going to like it. Horus Rising, the original trilogy in the books, by the way. Very, very good. Very, very good. ADB needs to continue his Night Lord's work. Yes. ADB, we had Talon of Horus and Black Legion. It would be good if he finished off that series, if he wants to. It'd be nice if he finished the 3rd book in that one, so we'd have the Night Lords trilogy, then we'd have the Abaddon trilogy, because I feel like that there's still a story to finish off in Black Legion, Talon of Horus as well. Both of them are quite good. Both of them are very good. Both of them are very good and self-contained story. But it'd be nice if there was something, you know what I mean? I'd do awful things for Jagatai Khan to return in the Chris Rate book. Yes. So Chris Rate, he broke all the scars. He did Warhawk. Turn around to Chris Rate and say, hey, we're thinking about bringing the Scar, we're thinking that, and they're going to come charging back out of the webway, and they're in, and what is Chris Rate going to write? Is he going to say that, oh, this is only 3 hours later, or is it going to be 3 years later, or is it going to be 3,000 years? He's gone in the webway, come out again. Space, he could have missed. Say Jagatai Khan comes riding out of the webway, and it's been literally a couple of days after he went riding into the webway. That would be, there's some gold in them there hills as far as literary and storytelling is concerned. I think so. Belisarius Call is a good book. Avenging Sun is a good book. Belisarius Call is a better, Haven't started the HH game system, but I imagine all the books will drag me in. Dude, the problem, Daniel, is it's like I know so many people who started Night Lords, or at least have got a Night Lords kill team, or because of the Night Lords trilogy. And Gaunt's Ghost has done the same thing for Imperial Guard players. I don't think there'd be as many Imperial Guard players lying around if it wasn't for Gaunt's Ghost. Dude, you're in the Horus Heresy now. Are Sultan Salamander's going to make another appearance at LTS? Maybe, yes, probably. I don't know. He's got so many Space Marines we haven't spoken about. I mean, he might bring them around on Sunday. He's playing on Sunday. I don't know what he's bringing around. It depends what Sultan wants to bring. a whole series on the Rangdan xenocides. The Rangdan were wiped out during the Horus Heresy, and there's nothing recorded about them or it other than a couple of lines and a couple of sentences here or there during the Horus Heresy, because it was a xenocide. They wiped out that species. 3 legions it took to do it. 3. 2 to take on the Interrex, but 3. I don't do tournaments, Reddit, Reboot. I don't do tournaments. The only tournaments I've done, I mean, I used to do tournaments a lot back in 5th and 6th edition. The only tournaments I've done since then are No Retreat tournaments. And, of course, the No Retreat Legend of Legends tournament, which I won, obviously. The reason why I don't do tournaments is you've got to give other people a chance, you know? You've got to give other people a chance. What do you mean I resemble a young Del boy? No. Just because of a hat. It's not. I don't look anything like Del boy. It looked like a distinguished gentleman, I think, and not. He's a plonker. Bye, Adam San. Isn't one of the missing Primarchs linked to the Rangdang? Maybe. I don't know. There's very few bits about the Rangdan history in the book because they were wiped out. Certainly not a young Del boy. Wraith. Now listen, young, yes. Del boy, no. I'll go with the young bit. Young, but not the no. It's this is. I feel like he copied me. It would make an epic series of novels, but why do we need them? Because there are many xenocides that happened. It's like saying the Ullanor campaign against the last big... There was many big chunks of Xenos in the galaxy completely wiped out during the Horus Heresy. I don't know why we need the Rangdang. You could imagine Winters down the market selling counterfeit miniatures. And it's just, cheers to everyone in the Mug Club. We have increased our numbers to 52. So Mug Clubs, I haven't got my mug with me right now because I gave it to a passing New Zealander that was in Swindon last week and said he couldn't get his mug. So I need another one. We need books on the Scouring. We do need books on the Scouring. It'd be nice. Nice standalone bits here or there on the Scouring would be very good. Love the last 2 battle reports. The 13th, are we going to see the end of all things soon? I want more. Thank you for 11 months, Brock. Have I filmed? There are a couple of battle reports with the end of all things in it. I did one. Yes, is the answer. Yes, I like the Death Guard. The Death Guard feel about right in this edition. Yes, the Rangdan genocides were pre-heresy. There's not enough pre-heresy. Yes, the Horus Heresy book series starts a couple of years before the Horus Heresy. And then you've got the first heretic, which goes back about 90 years before the heresy. Alfarius's Primarch book starts pre-heresy. It's 2 main timelines in it. One is pre-heresy, one is during heresy. Constantine Valdor's book is set pre-heresy. There's very few books that are pre-heresy Unification War era. I mean, I think the Unification War would be more interesting to some of the pre-heresy stuff, because the pre-heresy stuff is essentially, here's a big nasty galaxy, here's how we destroyed this species, then here's how we destroyed the other species, then here's how we destroyed this other species, and then here's one of the Primarchs that was killed by the Emperor, and here's the other Primarch that was killed by the Space Wolves. That sort of thing, you know. We need a book about the Iron Cage. Yeah, you see, that's why the Scouring would be good. We need to go back to Caliban to find out what happened there. A book with Guilliman in it and a reformation of the High Lords of Terror would be nice. A book about the Iron Cage would be nice. Haley, yes. ADB, Guy Haley, both. Yes. I'm still waiting for them to do a series on the Reign of Blood. I mean, that could be a good series as well. That could be a good series. The Beast Arises, though. They did The Beast Arises, and The Beast Arises is nice, but it's not great. It's not essential reading that I would recommend. So, you got to be careful. Got to be careful what you wish for, I think. What I struggle with when reading 40k books is figure out when it's set, pre or post Rift. I find it hard to follow sometimes without that sort of context. Oh yeah. So here's to help you. Most of them are pre-Rift. Because the Great Rift was sprung on the Black Library writers just as much as it was sprung on anyone else. Most of them are pre-Rift. Even the Night Lords trilogy, though it does lean all the way up to it, Black Legion, Talon, Horror. Most of them are pre-Rift. The ones after the Rift, like the Dawn of Fire series, which is good and bad, the Plague War series, which is recommended, Watchers of the Throne by Chris Raitt, 10 out of 10, must read them. That is pre-Rift, during Rift. That's what happens on Terra with the Custodes and the Sisters of Silence and the High Lords. What is going on Terra when a rift rips itself through the sky? What happened on Terra when Guilliman returned to Terra? That's Watchers of the Throne. It is called Watchers of the Throne, right? Look at publication date. Easy. Yeah. I read I Am Slaughter, wasn't really interested in the rest. I Am Slaughter, the first one of the Gaunt's, first one of Beast Arises is good. And like the fourth one with the massive space battle in it, or is it the third one is good? And then Vulcan Lives, that one's good. So that's 3 are good. The other 5, it wasn't as tight, that series, as the Horus Heresy series. Yeah, I mean, when you say, Liam T, that even post-Rift can be hard to nail down time-wise because they started jumping backwards and forwards. Yeah, and they've kind of, even post-Rift, it's written into the lore now that time is a bit wonky since the Rift, since the Noctis Aeterna. Since the Noctis Aeterna was the time when the period of time when the Astronomicon went out. And on Terra it lasted a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months. I want to say 2 weeks or 2 months, something like that. It lasted a period of time. But other systems have recorded that it lasted hundreds of years. So they get around it themselves, Games Workshop and all the right by you. We don't know what different parts of the galaxy, different times. Devastation of Baal is after the Rift. Yes, it is. What's your pick of a setting for a live action TV show? I'd go with Gaunt, but that seems a bit large, expensive. Seems like an episodic series around Kane or Rogue Trader would work. What's my pick on a setting for a live action TV show? If it was a live action TV show, I would go with an Inquisitor. I would make it a new Inquisitor. And the reason why I would do inquisitorial stuff is because then you can stay away from all the war stuff because it'll be cheaper. If you do a Space Marine or Imperial Guard, then there's lots of explosions, lots of CGI, lots of... I'd rather they didn't splurge all the budget on... You know what I mean? It needs to be a good story. So I'd have an Inquisitor running around doing Inquisitor things, and then there'd be some war things going on in the background, but it'd be also behind the scenes of the Imperium in Hive City. Also in an Inquisitor, you could end up on quite a few different settings, a couple of different worlds, a couple of different places, and then you could introduce either Eisenhorn or Ravna or someone like that into it, someone like that we know, Hesperus, someone, you know. That's what I would do. I mean, it'd be great to say, hey, yeah, let's film Gaunt's Ghosts. You could do Gaunt's Ghosts-ish things in there, and I've argued for that before. The Horus Heresy, though, would just be so very expensive to do. I would get Dan Abnett. I would give him all the money Dan Abnett needs. Dan Abnett has written screenplays before. Guardians of the Galaxy, Dan Abnett wrote. or one of the writers for. And I'll give him the money, give him the time, sit him in a room. I think he's mentioned that he's involved. And let him go wild. You know what I mean? Eisenhorn books will make a great TV show. Don't know what's happening with that. Yeah, that's sort of died, isn't it? I don't want an Inquisitor show. It's a war. I'd hate to see 40k made to be a bad drama like Halo. So another way to do it, Blood Buffalo, would be... Here's another way to do it. You could do Gaunt's Ghost. Hi, John Patel. Thank you for your 20 months. Evening, or I would like them to do... Thank you, 20 months. Appreciate you. I'd kind of like them to do one of the crime novels as a TV series. The crime novels, also by Chris Wright. Bloodlines, Chris Wright. Check it out. Very good. Gaunt's Ghost would have done like Band of Brothers. That would be amazing. Yeah. So... one of the crime novels is a TV series, Gaunt's Ghost. So they could do Gaunt's Ghosts. So say they did Gaunt's Ghosts on AX Cardinal, which is the trench world. It's like World War One. So Gaunt's Ghosts, World War One, AX Cardinal. We can get behind this, and producers and directors and actors can kind of, who are unfamiliar with the 40k universe, can be like, okay, this is lasers in World War One. I get it. Here we go. This is future space technology in the trenches. It's World War One, but the trench warfare has been going on for 40 years. There's full-on cavalry charges in it on Sturuthaths. They're big birds. There's gas attacks. There's guns on... You can do that. And a third of the story involves what's going on in the trenches, and you only have to worry about a couple of platoons. So 2, 3... focus on the story of 2 or 3 platoons down in the trenches in AX Cardinal. One thing. The second part you do is you do the Gaunt's Ghost behind enemy lines, you know, the bit through the forest, but cut that out the bit through. You do Gaunt's Ghost doing their sneaky things like the Dirty Dozen with Gaunt, and that's another third of the story. And then the other third of the story is all the political intrigue in the middle with the generals and the lieutenants and the inquisitors and all the stuff behind. And you can cut it between the 3 stories through trench warfare going on here, desperate stuff with people sneaking behind the lines here, trying to stop the big guns, with lieutenants and generals and people in the background screwing everyone over with all the decision makings and the political intrigue and the Game of Thrones-ish stuff in the background over here, and how that has an implication on that, has an implication on that, and it goes forward again, ramping the tension up and up and up and up until basically the people in the background, the generals, the lieutenants, the political advisors are running the war into the ground. They're selling millions of lives away. Gaunt's going to die. The people in the trenches are going to die. It's all going to go horribly wrong. Gaunt comes in there right at the end, shoots one of them in the head, does his full-on commissar thing. It'll be a revelation to people who don't know 40k. 1 minute, that guy just shot that other guy in the head with a bolt pistol. So his brain went boom, literally blew his head off. Oh my God, oh my emperor, that sort of thing. And a bit of... And it gets created, and then Gaunt is going to get in trouble because of it, because maybe he was too high, and then the guys in the trenches are still getting shelled anymore, and then the bad guys push through at the last minute, and it's grim in the dark. They're all about to die horribly, and then you can do the expensive stuff, which is CGI spaceship pulls in overhead, nukes the crap out of a bunch of stuff, drop pods come landing in, and literally in the last 10 minutes of season 1, you have drop pods slamming into the ground, space marines coming out of them and just decimating all the baddies and winning the war in about 10 minutes, which they've been fighting on the planet for 40 years. Welcome to 40k. That's how hard space marines are. And then all the normies will be sat there going... And you should have that look of what the hell was that? Was a wrecking ball that has just smashed everything aside very, very, very easily. And you can have some silver skulls or something like that meeting up with Gaunt at the end saying, I remember you from Balhurt. And he's like, yeah, well done. Okay. And then they get in their spaceship and bugger off again. And then that is end of season 1, episode 8. Boom. And you're like, oh, right. And obviously with some Easter eggs like, we'll see you again on Monthax when we will call you there in a year's time. And you're like, oh. And then that's the Easter egg. They were going to Monthax next, and the Space Marines are calling them. So you've got a Game of Thronesy type thing in the background. Everyone likes that political intrigue. You've got the common foot soldier grunt down in the thing shooting each other with las guns and gassete, and everyone knows World War One and Krieg. We like all that sort of stuff. You've got the war itch that is getting itched. You've got the political drama that's getting itched. These two things not being that expensive to make, well, relatively not that expensive to make because there's not a massive CGI fest going on. And then the third part, which is the Gaunt's Ghost, the Dirty Dozen thing behind the scenes, that'll probably need quite a bit of CGI because that's where all the specialisms and all the weird stuff is going to come in, plus the final season. That's what I would do. I would make a TV show like that where heroes die, where some of the heroes succeed, some of the heroes die horribly, some of the villains get their comeuppance, but some of the villains succeed horribly. It's 40k, where some of the twists you saw coming and some of the twists you didn't see coming, and also with an absolutely overwhelming 40k thing at the end. I mean, you can finish it off with they extract from the planet, and in the post-credit scene, the Space Marines just nuke it from orbit because it's the only way to be sure. Get that grim in the dark, that people are worthless, people are just cogs. You know, that's what. Anyway, here we are. That's what I would do. That's just the framework of it. In and amongst there, the characters that you need. Gaunt is a fantastic character. You get an Inquisitor in there, and the Inquisitor, you don't know whether he's a good guy or a bad guy. You know, is he really evil or is he not? And the twist at the end would actually make the Inquisitor quite good, make him like an evil like you know, in Harry Potter, the guy who was the bad guy all the way through and he turned out to be the good guy at the end, Alan Rickman, R.I.P., that sort of thing. Do that to it. You've also got some really awesome characters in the Gaunt's Ghosts, Shoghi Domor, Larkin, Elijah Koo. It'd be great to see Elijah Koo in there as well, sure. Because then it's Easter eggs for us that know. Like, oh, Elijah Koo seems... Because Elijah Koo was... I mean, he's a nasty piece of work, but he would have made Scout quite easily. He was an absolute killer. And it would be good for people to get behind him in Season 1, thinking, okay, well, I'll give this guy a free ride because he might be a bit of a git. But he's very handy with a knife. And then those that know what might happen in Season 2 or Season 3. So a good scaffolding to hang good character-driven story content in there. And it doesn't need to be a massive CGI fest. It could be done with a lot of real practical effects. And the thing is as well, that's just a dot. That is just a dot in the whole of the universe. You don't want Henry de Caval to be Constantine Valdor. We don't want a Horus Heresy. We don't want that as a first pass. We don't want some massive grand, we're trying to do a massive Tyrann invasion of a world as their first pass. Because you know they'll screw it up. Stick with something that the producers, the directors, the actors will feel comfortable with, which is essentially a war drama, suspense drama, political drama on a world which probably gets nuked at the end. Yeah, we do. No, we don't. We don't want them to do all the things. They will. I adore the Ghost too. Why not just a Space Hulk movie? They could do that, actually. They'll probably get sued by Warner Brothers or whoever made Aliens. But yeah, a Space Hulk movie would work. Could they do a Space Hulk TV series? They could do a Space Hulk TV series. But it's only into like episode 3 that, you know, the first one is them finding it and the humans and some rogue traders and the things, and then second one is some humans get in there first and then get killed by the Tyranids, and then suddenly it's like, oh, this is like a horror movie, and then the third one, the Dark Angels get sent in there and they get deployed. You could have a Space Hulk type. Yeah, that could. Band of Brothers and 40k would work better though. I think so. Band of Brothers and 40k would work a lot better. Yeah. You do need to start with humans to get the normies in. It is 2024. And I know everyone says you need to start with humans, but it's 2024, so you know you don't. They do need to start with a human story, because the normal people who don't know like my wife is never going to watch it. But if it's got Henry Cavill in it and I say, hey, it's a political drama. Yes, there's some explosions and bullets, but it's a political drama as well. It's a bit like Game of Thrones. You know, like June feels in places a bit Game of Thronesy. You know, that's sort of what's going on behind the scenes. That we like that. People like those sorts of things. It's, yes. I want a Tyranid invasion of Baal. You can't have it. They would screw it up. It would look awful on the CGI. It would cost them so much money. And no, we don't. No, the Tyranid invasion of Baal would be much better if it was like animation. What about a show from a different faction's perspective? So what you mean, instead of from the Imperial perspective, we have it from, I don't know, we have it from the Star Wars perspective or the Star Trek perspective. I don't think it'll work in 40k. It's kind of like Downton Abbey. Lots of people with funny hats. Funny hats. Lots of people with funny hats was one of the things that Garvey Loken remembered. Remember that? Was there something you found funny? Ollerton asked him. In all this time, conquering the galaxy. And he said, she's a remembrancer, asking a space marine over 100 years old, do you find anything funny? Can you recall a time? And he said, yeah, there was one world which we brought into compliance, and everyone had this massive parade in all the cities, and they wore these monstrously big hats on their head, and they were dancing and twirling with these huge hats, and none of them fell off their head. And he thought that was funny. That's what Space Marines find funny, or at least that particular Space Marine. Star Wars, but no Jedi or the Force, because normies wouldn't get it. Give audience more credit. Space Marines are not hard to grasp. I just mean it's easier to relate to a human than it is to a superhuman killing machine, a hypno-conditioned, psychotic transhuman with 3 lungs and 2 hearts and can spit acid and eat brains and recall people's last memories because the brains were fresh. There's more. I mean, one of the reasons why in the Heresy books they fill them up with non-Space Marines like Remembrancers and Perpetuals and captains of ships like Lorita Saren and people like that, Latara Saren, is the reason why they fill them up with those is because we can relate to humans more than we can to Khan or Sigismund. And yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it would be a bad thing. I'm not saying the Horus Heresy movie would be bad. I am saying that it would be terrible. I don't think it's, at the first pass, you don't want to start with your biggest explosion at the start. You start with the little explosions, okay? If you're going to blow up a housing estate, yes, it would be really good to drop a nuke on the housing estate. Boom, done. But that's hardly a hobby, is it? Because once you've nuked it, then your hobby's, that's it. You've blown it up. If you're going to blow up a housing estate, then nuclear weapons, also the fallout would be horrible. If you're going to have a hobby like that, exploding things, or frogs, if you want to blow up some frogs, lots of little explosions. If you want to blow up anything, really, make it a long-term goal. Make it something that you can come back to and enjoy more and more and more, and then put a bit more C4 and a bit more C4 and a bit more C4. There's quite a few housing estates in Swindon that could do with a nuclear bomb dropped on them. But if I was going to blow up a couple of housing estates in Swindon, I would take my time. I would enjoy it. I would take my time. These are terrible examples. I'm sorry. Well, what do we think then? What do we think? What do you want to see for a TV show or a Space Marine show or a movie? What would work? What would work for a good movie? What's synopsis? What is a good example? I think I quite like my example. I would like to see Gaunt's Ghosts, and I would like to see it. I would like to see the telescope zoomed all the way in to a small thing that they're trying to achieve here, which is getting screwed over by the higher ups, and by the end of it, you get the wider aperture picture of the whole planet, and then an even wider aperture picture of the system, and then and how insignificant that is by the end. Tau in space. Siege of Terror with flashbacks through the Heresy. I mean, that would be amazing. If they could do Siege of Terror with flashbacks through the Heresy, that would be amazing. It would cost them billions, so they're probably not going to do it. Could see an old school action movie like Predator, just in Catachan jungle. That's a good shout. Catachans hunting down. Yeah, and it could start off like Predator and then escalate to, there's a few Predators, then escalate to, and then you could get inside a base, then an underground base, and then a bit in space, and you could open that out. Yeah. You didn't miss the stream, Marius Gage. We're still here. Average human perspective of an invasion, Cloverfield style, where you don't get to see the big bad. Yeah, Cloverfield style, exactly. I'm trying to keep it cheaper for them because you know how expensive this could get. For me, your suggestion sounds great. Well, thank you, Daniel Gaffner. Thanks. I appreciate you. It's good. Popular storytelling device was done well in The Expanse was have 3 main stories that slowly intertwine. Yes, exactly. 3 main stories overlapping, intertwining, exactly. Pigs in Space parody with Tau would be hilarious. It would be. Cadians, they're literally in every Imperial engagement, deal with everyone, the politics, the creeds being ignored. Cadia Falling could be a movie that leads to the Primarch return. Cadia Falling. Cadians. Yes, you could do that. Hello, Frankie. Say they had Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones type budget. How many films would they need to do a decent job with the Heresy, do you think? How many films would they need to do? I don't think the Horus Heresy is filmable. Not in films. No. The Horus Heresy would be something. I mean, you're looking at. Basically, look at how many hours of content would do a decent job with the Heresy. You're asking a decent job with the Heresy, the whole Heresy. So say hours of content, film content is 200 hours, and they're 2-hour movies. So what's that? 100 movies. It's better to do it as a TV series. It's not morning, Crazy Kill Switch. Hi, Just Craig. 72. They said Lord of the Rings wasn't filmable. I know they said Lord of the Rings wasn't filmable, but then CGI changed, and so the CGI caught up, and then Lord of the Rings was filmable. I mean, maybe but Lord of the Rings had a massive budget. See, the thing is, if it costs them hundreds of millions to make it, and it doesn't get that return, then we won't get any more. We'll get a couple more seasons or a couple more films, and then that's it, and it will die. I want the budget to be somewhere manageable, like 100 million or something like that for a TV series, or however. I want it to be smaller than 250 million, 300 million. I want the budget smaller because then it's more chance that it'll make money. It needs to make them money. It needs to, and if it makes them a lot of money, they'll do a lot more of them. If the budget is huge, then it needs to make huge amounts of money before they make huge more. So I'm just conscious of the fact that, 200 million, it's nuts. Yeah, I mean, movies back then. What's been overlooked is Amazon working on the shooter. Yes. In reality, how many hours need to tell the core story? What the Imperium is, who the Primarchs are, and why some rebelled, and how it ended. How many hours is needed to tell the core story to someone who doesn't know anything about the verse? multiple movies from multiple perspectives. It certainly would need multiple movies from multiple perspectives because it is too detailed. You need to tell it fully from the bad guy's point of view as well as the good guy's point of view. And then the bad guy's point of view is more than one point of view. Because, I mean, they did it. Perturabo did it for completely different reasons for Angron, who did it for completely different reasons from Lorgar. If you want the full... It's a big piece of work. It took them over 60 books with the anthologies and the Primax series, over 90 books and 16 years to write it. So, yeah. Where are we? A Space Hulk movie would be good. I think a Space Hulk movie would be good. A standalone Space Hulk movie would be good and relatively cheap to make. It's all yeah. I mean, they could... If the Space Hulk movie was 2 hours long, I'd have an hour of it, maybe 45 minutes of it, actually the tension, cut up. A small mission here, a small mission here, because it can't be just them walking down corridors, right? You'll have to have them discovering the Hulk. You have to have some people, not Space Marines, like cutting through some human story thing of some rogue trader doing some other stuff from maybe... There's got to be a second story arc going through. So maybe as the Dark Angel, there's another party doing... Yeah, it would be good. It would be good if they... It just isn't like Dark Angels. Get there, find the Hulk, go through it, kill everything, get out, detonate the Hulk, done. It needs to be a bit more complicated than that. Just buy the Red Dwarf set and you've got a Space Hulk ready to go. So do the whole Heresy in a trilogy then. The whole Heresy in a trilogy. I don't know how long and how many films and how... The Heresy just feels like a really big thing to turn into a show or a movie. It feels like it would take a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of movies or a lot of TV shows. That's what my instinct is telling me there. I could be wrong. There could be a quicker way of doing the whole thing, but would it be as satisfying? If you just have a quick one, is it as satisfying? The animation series will do blah, blah, blah. That was a joke. The trilogy thing. Right. Yeah. Lord of the Rings. Horus Heresy. Part 1. Istvan. Part 2. All the bits in the middle. Part 3. The Solar War. The live action show as your main grab. The movies as bigger dents. The animation series as the deepest. We'll see how well... Yeah, I mean, Amazon are throwing some money at it. They're going to do some things. If it makes them money, they will do more things. If it doesn't make them any money, they will stop throwing money at it and they won't do any more things. We'll see how it will go. I do hear... and when they do it, in the grim darkness of the far future, with all the Slanesh things going on, with the Dark Eldar in Cormorant, with demons literally erupting out of people's left nipple. I don't think we're going to get much of that on screen. I don't think there's going to be a lot of Slanesh going on. I don't think we're going to get to the skinning pits of Cormorant very soon. I don't think we're going to go to Medingrad. There's not a lot. So, but what they can do is the suspense element like in Aliens, the horror element like in Alien. They can do that side of things. But yeah, it's to nail the grim dark aesthetic as well. I mean, I suppose they just have to do a panning shot through a hive city and that'll get it down. You're not getting Slanesh. We're not getting any Slanesh from Amazon anytime soon. I say rip the band-aid off and do a Kurz movie. See, the thing is, as well, you could do movies. Kurz would be a great Primarch movie to do. Should they just do Primarch movies, like one on Kurz and then one on this? And then, I don't know. What would you like the next Horus Heresy campaign book to be? Epic Votan, I would like it to be Istvan. Epic Campaigns in the Age of Darkness, Istvan. And it covers Istvan 3 and Istvan 5. Soul Hunter would be a good TV show. Gaunt's Ghost would be a good TV show. Eisenhorn would be a good TV show. Commissar Kane stories would be good. It would be good. It'd be light-hearted as well. There's a lot of CGI going on in the Gaunt. Kane. I mean, the first one is all the necro. There's a lot of stuff going on in Kane compared to Gaunt. Actually, no. Some of the Gaunt stuff is really high up in the CGI. It depends, but Kane is always in bigger wars. The way they do more Slaanesh things in The Boys. Amazon isn't squeamish. Yeah, The Boys in Amazon isn't. Yeah, that's The Boys. I would kill to get an ADB Night Lords TV show. It would be good. It would be good. It would be a good way of introducing Space Marines. But half of the series would just be a black screen because their spaceships are black. They have all the lights turned off. They walk around in midnight clad. You know? Yeah. I mean, from my point of view, that you asked me what I would do. Here's what I would love to see. I would love to see the first part of the Horus Heresy in movie form. I would love to see Horus rising and them setting it up and the battle on murder and then the Interrex and bring people into 40k that way. And I'd love to see the end of the trilogy is the drop site massacre where 500,000 Space Marines died in one day. Do you know how hard it is to kill 500,000 people? That's pretty hard. I mean, if I had a brick and I had to kill 500,000 people, I'd have a sore arm by the end of it. And it would definitely take more than a day. In the Urgal Depression, in a day, that's slaughter on an industrial scale. With Ferrus Manus getting his head kicked off, and that's the end of the trilogy. And in the Grimdark, that's what I'd love to see, the drop site massacre on the big screen. There's things that I would like to see, but that's different to what I would do. You know what I mean? I just want Blood Angels in live action at some point. Give me that and I'll die happy. Yeah. Blood Angel Space Hulk thing. Do a show of an Inquisitor on a black ship. Oh, what are you talking about in a show of an Inquisitor on a black ship? A show about a rogue trader with an Inquisitor on his ship floating around all over the place. It doesn't have to be on a black ship. But rogue traders can go to places which are non-Imperium. Black ships float around the Imperium. I think a rogue trader opens up anything, essentially. A Band of Brothers show that follows regular squad through the heresy. Well, they would have to have some severe plot armor if they manage to make it through any war that's got transhumans in them. Oh dear. I wouldn't mind watching some Grey Knights. Yeah, so Grey Knights would work well as well. Grey Knights translocating into the warp and out of the warp and I think they probably need to do something. Here's the thing though, actually. I think they probably need to drive home the grim dark and the religious thing. So they probably need to do something with some Sisters of Battle in as well. You really need to get the fundamental, hey, look, we're Space ISIS down as well. You know what I mean? Because the Sisters of Battle make ISIS look shameful in their fervor. That you need to lean in. They would show that. I mean, Pentant engines. Double Eagle would be good. Yeah, the Imperial Naval League Pirates. Titanicus again. Dan Abnett's Titanicus with Titans in it. That would be cool. Black ships only deal with humans though, so CGI would be limited. Yeah, mostly a drama that emphasizes sacrifice. You know, that's a good point. Because you've got you'd have the Psyker thing in, you'd have pariahs in it. The idea of sacrifice, you could actually get to Terra, the ships coming back to the Somnus Citadel and offloading and on the moon and seeing Terra. You could get that side of things as well. Maybe the story revolves around some Chaos guys that want to attack a black ship to get an alpha level psyker up, maybe like in The Dark Knight with that guy with the bombs inside him that Joker stitched the bombs inside his chest. Like the black ships turn up to a thing, they pick up some stuff, and then boom, and it blows out some psykers into the space, and then the bad guys pick up the bad guy psyker, and the bad guy psyker is doing all bad guy things, and then the Sisters of Silence have to go and chase them, and and then they hook up with some. Yeah, you could do a thing. Baneblade. Baneblade, yeah. There's lots of things you could do. Yes. I mean, yes. It's so rich. It's so rich and open. The 30k verse has been added to and added to and added to for 30 years now. This is some deep lore. What is the best way? No, not the best is different from how do you make the most successful TV show set in the 40k verse that is going to get the most number of views you possibly can. And I think the best way to do that is with character-driven storytelling. Get some of the Black Library authors involved and make sure that you adapt. Make sure it feels suitably grimdark, with things get really bad, things are really religious, lots of good guys die, the scale is huge from not all the way through, but get a sense of this is tiny and the scale is much bigger, and then chuck some Space Marines in it at the end. I think you're good. A blurb or planet or two, it's good. Just have something big, a big beat at the end. I think that's the way to go. Have you read Leviathan? No, I haven't read Leviathan. It's pretty much designed to be an intro into 40k. Okay. If you start with this fan into 40k, you show the cause, then set up for what you're going to, like Star Wars and prequels. Yeah. You could start with this fan. Yeah, there's lots of things you could do. I know whatever we get at the end will be disappointing in some way or another. To my mind, it's like watching the animations. Some of the animations are good. Some of the animations are terrible. You enjoy the good ones. It's like the Black Library books. Some of them are really good, and some of them are terrible. You just enjoy the good ones and reread those ones. And I'm certain the TV show or movies are going to suffer a similar fate. Some of them are going to be really good. Some of them are going to be terrible. I just hope the first couple are not terrible. I mean, like Fallout. It's not a must watch, but anyone who's played the Fallout video games needs to go and watch Fallout. But Fallout is currently on. It's good. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. The pacing of it needs tidying up. There's a lot of dead space in between. But and it respects the original source material. It is deep in the lore. So something like that would be good. A 6 out of 10, like Fallout on TV right now, I would be 100% happy with. I'd be like, this is 40k. Like when you watch Fallout, you can be like, this feels like I'm playing a video game. This feels like, because all the Fallouts, you start off as a Vault survivor, and I forget her name, but she starts off as a Vault survivor. It basically puts you, Fallout is like new player mode from Vault 33. Boom. Yeah. Yeah, the black ship could be a way. Evil Star Trek. Yeah, episode ideas, black ships. So yeah, evil Star Trek. This is what we do. We're not boldly going. Instead, we are going to different places and trading in slaves. Slavery, yeah. Evil Star Trek, black ships, human slavery. This is 40k. That won't upset anyone, will it? You'd be over the moon if we got something as well done as the Fallout series. Yes. Never played the video game, but the show made me a fan. Yes, it's a good show. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh at 6 out of 10, but the pacing in it could do with tighter editing. After watching Rebel Moon, I just hope they do better than that. Well, they can hardly do worse than Rebel Moon. Do not watch Rebel Moon, people. Just don't. Save yourself. Save it. Save that. Go and watch a battle report instead. All of them you start as a Vault for Survivor, except for the best one. Just remake the Ultramarines movie. The Ultramarines movie, I mean, it's not very good. But at the time when it came out, it was the only full 3D CGI thingy-bob ever made. We hadn't seen anything like it before, and I was blown away by it. But again, the pacing in that. The Ultramarines movie is what? An hour and 10? But there's a 20 minutes of story in it. So Fallout was okay. Felt the ending could have been better. I'll tell you what I would recommend. If any of you guys have seen the Gentleman, there was a Guy Ritchie movie called The Gentleman, and there's now a TV series on Amazon or Netflix or one of them called The Gentleman. That's one of the best things I've watched recently. It's one of those that the end of the season, because sometimes seasons towards the end can dip off. It starts strong. In the middle, it's a bit weaker, and in the end, it's better. It goes. The ending's very good. The last couple of shows are very good. Recommend The Gentleman. 10 out of 10. Character-driven storytelling. Them. You still watch the Ultramarines movie like once a season. Yeah, it's just nice to hear and see. See, I'm such a fan. I just like seeing them instead of seeing them like this. It's the first time I got to hear what they sounded like. I got to hear what a bolt gun sounded like. I got to see them move, how far they could jump. I was such a big fan of it. I wouldn't watch it. I've seen it a couple of times. I do own it, but I wouldn't watch it again and again. We as a community need to not be toxic if it's decent. Don't shred something for not being perfect. This is the thing, isn't it? This fan base, the Warhammer fan base, will shred the crap out of it even if it's good. I got to hear what they sound like. John Hurt is awesome at it. Yeah, it's very good. The bit with the chaplain, the fight at the end, very good. It's just, there's 20 minutes of story in there, right? Animated Hell's Reach is my once a season to watch. The animated Hell's Reach guy, he now works for Warhammer Plus. The Astartes, yes. Everyone's seen Astartes, right? You have to watch Astartes. Astartes is just good. The Space Marine recruitment process could be a good drama series for TV. Astartes does bring them to life. Astartes is a great. They barely say anything in that. It's just them doing things. Yes. You couldn't have that for whole 10 shows, though, could you? It would be relentless. You need humans in there to slow it down a bit. I demand a John Keeble cameo. Him or the Toby Longworth. I like John Keeble. I like Toby Longworth. I like both of them. They're smashing. You're going to get a good audible when it's Jonathan Keeble or Toby Longworth. Some of the audible readers, when you listen to them, it sounds like they're reading something to you. And that kind of can take you out of it sometimes when it sounds like someone's reading you something. But the good thing about Jonathan Keeble or Toby Longworth is it doesn't sound like that when you listen to them. It sounds like they're telling you a story, like it's coming straight out of their brain, and you're round a campfire and it's the old days and let me tell you a story about this Space Marine. Well, and it sounds like that. They're very good at it. Would be good to get a show about a guardsman in a battlefield. Would probably only be about 2 minutes long, though. There's a book called 27 Minutes. I think it's called 27 Minutes. And it's about a guardsman. And it's called 27 Minutes because that's the average life expectancy of a guardsman deployed into this engagement. And so this new guy turns up and he hears this. Oh yeah, in 27 minutes you'll be. That's the average. That's a good book. It's got Necrons in it. I recommend that one. That's a good 40k book. Emperor Spear's audio was great. Well, it's Aaron Dembski-Bowden. I don't know if he's ever written a bad book in his life. Toby is the GOAT. Also like Henry Myers and Mark Ebersberg. 15 hours. Is it called 15 hours? 15 hours. Okay, it's called 15 hours then. That's what the book is called. But it's a good one. Recommend. Is it Versus Orcs? It is Versus Orcs. It's been a while. But that one is a really good one. Whoever read Thousand Sons on Audible was awful. Yeah. Mark Estlebrob. The book 15 hours was my introduction to 40k Guard versus Orc. 27 hours is the one with Sandra Bullock. Is there one called 15 hours and one called 27 hours now? I'm going to have to pull up my Audible. Is there one literally called 15 hours and one called 27 hours? Audible. Is it in Audible? No, it's in my Kindle. I don't have it in my Audible. It's in my Kindle. So I can't see it on this one. 27 hours is the one with... What's it called? 27 hours. 27 minute survival rate. It's 27 minutes because that is how long it takes to recruit and equip the Guardsman before he sets foot in the battlefield and he dies. What are my thoughts about the Rogal Dawn? It's a tank named after a Primarch. It's got more wings than the Land Raider. That's wrong. It's quite strong. It's good. It's good. I mean, yes. It's... The Rogal Dawn, yes. If I had a guard army, a fully fledged guard army, I'd be running minimum 2 of them in most of my games. It's my first 40k book. 15 hours was recently... Hello, Sullivan Gilbert. Hello. Hi. Is it 15 hours? The book is 15 hours by Michael. Have you made it to Master Mankind on Audible? Keeble's Emperor is phenomenal. Maris Gage, thank you for your donation. I really appreciate you. Love you, babe. No. As you know, I'm going through the entire Horus Heresy series on Audible for the first time, and we are up to... what's it called? I keep wanting to say Imperium Secundus, but it's not Imperium Secundus. It's Unremembered Empire. We're up to Unremembered Empire. Finished Vulcan Lives last night and moved straight on to Unremembered Empire. I'm very much looking forward to Emperor Master Mankind. Again, that's one of the books that I've read a couple of times over. And so if it's Keeble doing it, I know it's going to be good. It's Aaron Dembski-Bowden, so I know it's going to be good. It's got the Emperor in it, so it's fantastic. And Keeble is Keeble. So thank you. Rogal Dawn tank hard carried me through the last March of Winter's event. There you go. Any good tips for playing Guard? I'm just starting it on 1K. There's a YouTube channel called Auspex Tactics. Check it out. He recently did a video literally today or within this last week, which is 5 strong Guard lists. So go to Auspex Tactics, watch that video. That will give you some very good direction on how to start Guard in this edition. I would get a couple of Rogal Dawn. I would get a couple of Scout Sentinels. You want indirect fire with some basilisks in it. I haven't even watched the video myself, so I won't comment further. More tanks. After that, would not recommend using... Yes, Agras. Do not wash yourself with the Agrax Shade. Yes, do not wash it. No, wash yourself with soap and water and Nuln Oil. Thank you. No problem. Yeah, Auspex Tactics, check it out. Hellhounds don't have to roll and they're fun for Overwatch. No, not Hellhounds. I mean, yes. Look, anything works. But if you want strong lists, this edition, 10th edition, there is literally 2 or 3 strong lists per faction. If you go to any tournament in this edition or talk to any tournament player in this edition or watch any live tournament recap on the YouTubes, if you see someone playing Eldar, they are playing one of 2 lists and those lists haven't changed very much. They're very similar lists. If you see Guard, you see a couple of different lists. If you see Grey Knights, it's all Terminators with Flamers and Banners and Apothecaries and a couple of Dread Knights. There's a couple of lists for every single faction, because the way the points work in this edition and the way you attach a character to a thing and this thing, and it does, it's like Lego this edition. It constructs it. It's easier to put together, and so it's easier to data mine it and find the spam. And so there's much less variation in tournament lists in this edition than there has ever been in previous editions. So if you want the really strong stuff, you can find it. But anything works. You can bring 3 Hellhounds, you can bring this, you can bring that, you can bring... But if I was doing it and I was starting, I'd want to try and start off strong. That's what I would do. I'd like to start off like, no, okay, I've got a good handle, I've got a good core here. It's like what I'm doing with the Heresy stuff. A good handle, good core, and then I add bits to it and then tone it down. And I'd never go... ultimate full on in the core. Never go full on in the core, only halfway to the core, but you lean into it to begin with, don't you? It's what you do. Found the video, it was posted 3 hours ago. There you go. I know it popped up. Master of Mankind is my favorite Audible book of all time. Generally prefer it to the book. Must have listened to it 4 times now. Nice, man. I mean, favorite books in the series: Betrayer, Master of Mankind, the first trilogy, Saturnine Warhawk, Mechanicum. Favorite audibles: The Last Church, The Prince of Crows, Malcador, First Lord of the Imperium. Yeah. Was 7th edition a good edition? I've been looking at it and seems a bit like Horus Heresy. It depends. It depends what you mean by good. Some people will say it was good, some people say it was terrible. Horus Heresy is built around... So there's been 3 editions of Warhammer 40k. There's been Rogue Trader in 2nd edition. Then they changed the way the core system works, and there's been 3rd edition through to 7th edition. And then they changed the way the core edition works, and then there's been 8th, 9th, 10th. 3rd edition through 7th edition, that core rule set is the core rule set behind Horus Heresy. That's what Horus Heresy is. So the Horus Heresy rule set is the best version of the 3rd to 7th edition rule set there has been. Assuming that each one was better than the one before, was an evolution of the one before. And I think that's probably an accurate way of describing how the rule sets used to evolve. They used to grow, they used to get better, get a bit more depth in. 8th, I didn't mean to press that button. 8th moved to 9th, and 9th moved to 10th. We're assuming that 10th is a better version of 8. I'm not sure you can use that logic now. But yeah, if what you should do is watch some Horus Heresy battle reports and things like that. So, because if you're interested in getting into it, that's what you should do. What you've got with Horus Heresy is 10th edition is more of a strategy, is a war game with lots of stratagems and strategy. It's a strategy game. It's a strategy game. It's a war simulator. And Horus Heresy in 7th edition earlier is more of a war game, like you might see with Bolt Action or Infinity or Lord of the Rings, or a war game. So stuff will get pinned, stuff will fall back, stuff will break, vehicles will get immobilized, weapons will get blown off them, things like that. It's more of a war game thing, whereas 10th is more of just a game. Lords of Silence is my favorite. I have listened to The Last Church no less than 10 times. It's so damn good. It is very good. Check out The Last Church on YouTube as well. There's been a few animated Last Churches, but they're just, the whole book in itself is... Horus Heresy balance is easier mainly because it's Marines. The flare isn't as big, and an army doesn't need to feel stronger or weaker. Same faction. There's more internal balance within Heresy. Yes, because it's mainly Marines. Yes, there's more internal balance. But there's also a bigger imbalance in Heresy. Because in Heresy, the rules are written with the narrative in mind, whereas in 10th edition, they're written with competition in mind. In 40k, they're written with competition in mind. They're written with the tournament scene in mind, and that's why we get so many balanced data changes. That's why that's what it's all about: primary points, secondary points. So in Heresy, in the mid-level, it's more internally balanced, but at the extremes, they don't care about balance. So in Heresy, for example, you can have some guns or some weapons that literally cannot hurt your enemy, whereas in 40k, 6 is to wound, always wound. In Heresy, you can attack the side of a Land Raider with a knife all you want, but that knife isn't going to hurt the Land Raider. And you've got Primarchs in it, you've got Warlord Titans in it, you've got... Heresy, you need to have a conversation with your opponent beforehand about how many Dreadnoughts and Primarchs they're bringing, because it can get skew-iffy straight away. They're not interested in bringing competitive balance to Heresy. What they're interested in doing in Heresy is bringing the narrative to life and creating rules that are in line with the narrative from the books that we know and love, with points that roughly work in the middle. But as soon as you get to the extremes, it doesn't work anymore. Heresy is great fun. Heresy is really good fun. I'm enjoying Heresy a lot. Heresy has rekindled my love for 40k, and 40k has rekindled my love for Heresy. I'm glad that I'm doing both of them, because they are. And originally, I remember arguing back in the day, like, it should be the same game system so people could cross over from one to the other, and it can get bleed from 40k people into Heresy and Heresy bleed. But I'm pleased they didn't do that in the end, because the fact that they feel different and play different and look different is that difference is keeping both systems fresh for me. Bye Blood Buffalo, thanks for stopping by. I really like narrative. It's why I'm looking at 7th. Would like to play some Xenos. Yeah. Crusader's been a lot of fun. Bit of bookkeeping, but lots of fun. Heresy is 40k for those over 40. Oh, dear. Yeah, maybe. I think 40k is... I don't know. Is it? I mean, old world as well. Look. I want them to have 4 big successful game systems. So Sigma 40k, fantasy sci-fi, and then old world Heresy, fantasy sci-fi. If those were 4 big successful game systems, that means we're going to keep getting content for those game systems. Yeah. They literally called it old world for the old people. Yes, they did. It's the old world for the boomers. Yeah. Anyway, I've been banging on for over an hour and 40 minutes. This is your 2-minute warning, people. If you've got any more questions, suggestions, feedback, stuff and things. Do you think there are too many systems now? No, I don't. I think there being 2 fantasy systems and 2 main sci-fi systems is fine. Having said all that, there isn't. There is Warhammer 40k, which outsells the other 3 systems combined. So, hey everyone, before he leaves, like the stream. Cheers, Winters. Keep up the awesome work. See you on Friday. Yes, just Greg. I'll see you on Friday. I don't know whether I'm going to use some of this to dress our table, or whether I'm going to leave the table set up. But yeah, we're going to nail 2 games, 2.5 hours a game, beginning and end. Okay? We're going to nail it. Make sure you've got your cheat sheets ready to go. Your cheat sheet, and we'll boom. And I'll write 2 separate lists for you, Just Greg. So you've got this type of list and this. I'll probably throw the AdMech at you, and I'll probably throw something out. Actually, no, because your list is quite mean. I'll bring Raven Guard because I can do mean with them, and worldy. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I've been enjoying your 13th bat reps. Do you think I'd get good mileage out of buying Firstborns? If you buy Land Raiders, I can't see them going away anytime soon. So yes, get some Land Raiders. Hello, Hail Gaming. Thank you for your donation. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Apart from, Land Raiders and maybe Tactical Squads. I can't see Tactical Squads going away anytime soon. I would expect to see Tactical Squads getting an upgrade spree like Sternguard did, because they just sell a lot of Tactical Squads. Who have you? No, this is some stuff from GameMat.eu. I asked for some things. They sent me more things than I thought, so I need to unbox all the things. Thank you, Jay Young. Thank you. Inshan, glad you find a sneak into a Tuesday stream while the wife is out and about. Looking forward to a game with you in June. Inshan, you are coming in June, aren't you? Where are you? 2nd of June. Yes, mate. Nice to put. I'll put a face to the name. There's also Blood Bowl, Kill Team, Warcry, Underworld, Lord of the Rings, Legion Imperial. Yeah, there's also, there's many, many minor systems. So there's 3 types of war games in the world. There are patrol type war games, like a Blood Bowl, or like a Kill Team, or like the ones where you just need 10 miniatures or less. There's many different types of games like that. Then you have skirmish games like, the Kill Team boxes. Not the Kill Team boxes. But you get skirmish level missions, Mordheim, Then you get the ones where you need about 20 miniatures to play, maybe 25 miniatures to play. There's loads of them out there. They're the most common version that you get. And then you get the big games, the war games. And 40k and all the yes. So there's loads of different systems, loads of different game sizes, and it comes down to you. What do you want to play with? A few miniatures? Do you want to play with a lot of miniatures? Do you want to play with in the small game systems, Blood Bowl is ridiculously popular, and so is Necromunda. There's huge communities out there for those two. It looks like my first game is going to be against White Scars. You can get an army of them together by then, right? No. White Scars. And there's 2 different types of White Scars lists, just correct. There's the Terminator on foot list, and then there's the bike zipping around you all over the place. He'll probably do the foot list because it's broken. The White Scars, if he leans into the right of war, where you don't get any points for killing any of his stuff, and he'll have feel no pains everywhere. But you've got the last cannons, and you've got the Terminators, and you've got the Dreadnoughts. You'll be fine. Your list is good. You'll be fine. Anything other than Land Raiders, I'd be cautious. If Firstborn stuff, Land Raiders are popular AF, and they're so iconic, I can't see Land Raiders going away anytime soon. And the Tactical Marine box has been redone so many times because there was a period, I forget when it was, but there was a time when they sold more boxes of Tactical Marines in a month than they did the entire Warhammer Fantasy Old World range, and that's one of the reasons why they nuked the Old World. One box sold more than the whole other gaming system. That's how popular 40k is. That's how popular. I can't see them getting rid of Tactical. Sternguard. They didn't get rid of Sternguard. They just gave them a new box. I would expect to see that with Tacticals at some point, but that's a guess. It's just because it's so popular. Bring back Space Crusade. Hope the classic Dreadnoughts survive. Yeah, I hope they survive. I'm not hopeful either. But Boxnauts are... Rhinos, Land Raiders, Boxnauts, they can't really... Rhinos and Land Raiders have moved to Heresy, and they're so iconic, and you can still see them there. But they didn't move Boxnauts there, because they got Contemptor Dreads, Derrideo Dreads, Leviathan Dreads there. These iconic miniatures, you can't really get rid of them, can you? Because even normies know what they are. My wife knows what a Dreadnought is. She doesn't like 40k. Battlefield Gothic will be coming back at some point. I can guarantee it. It's just a matter of time. Tacticals have a direct Primaris replacement, while Sternguard didn't. Yeah. Sort of. Intercessors and Assault Intercessors. Sort of. Tactical squads. Yeah. Maybe they get rid of Tacticals as well. Will they get rid of them all? will all Firstborn be gone eventually? Or will some of the units get new sculpts, new sprues, and updated, refreshed, and brought in line? I mean, the Space Marine range is massive, and that's part of the reason for the cull. So, yes, we'll see. We'll see. It's always a moving target. There's always new miniatures coming. The range is always expanding. Daily Dice. Glad to catch you on a live. Looking forward to our game in May. Daily Dice. 15th May. Yes. Drop pods iconic. I mean, the drop pods, they could redo them now for intercessors and dreadnoughts and things. I mean, yeah, iconic stuff and things. They can't get rid of the iconic stuff and things, can they? I mean, Cadia is so iconic. There's no way they would blow that up. The Cadians are everywhere. Their armor is everywhere. It's so core and central to the part of the lore. The Cadian Gate is the one thing keeping the Eye of Terror shut. There's no way they would ever damage or harm something as fundamental as Cadia, because that's the Imperial Guard. That's the miniatures. That's the whole range right there. They would never blow that up. They would never do something so. They would never. No. 1 minute. Wouldn't they? They would, wouldn't they? They would. All the iconic stuff, they don't care, do they? They would just burn it all down. They don't care. It's grim in the darkness of the far future. Anyway, on that bombshell, happy wargaming.